Hello, I am Kavita Singh. Welcome to Lucid Lectures. In the same series of the blood, today we will discuss formed elements. Actually, the formed elements, as we know that these are the cellular part of the blood that comprises RBCs, WBCs and platelets. And today we will discuss about the RBCs or the red blood cells. Okay. First of all, what we already know about the RBCs. I think everyone knows that the red color of the blood is given by the RBCs because there is a protein or the pigment present, hemoglobin, that gives the red color to the RBCs, as well as RBCs gives the red color to the blood, and then they does the transportation of the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Okay, so next, the things that we don't know or we going to get to know about the RBCs. RBCs are also known as the erythrocytes. Okay. From very previous of our classes, we know that cytes means cells. Okay. Erythro simply means red blood cells. As we know that RBCs or red blood cells, because they looks or appears red in color because of the presence of the hemoglobin. The whole topic of RBCs we will discuss in following some topics. First of all, about their number, then about their shape and structure, third about their function, how they are able to perform that basic function. Next, about their formation. Okay. Next, about their life cycle. So let's start first with their numbers. Okay, so number of the RBCs is different in male, in females, and the person who was living at high altitude or at the mountain in comparison to the person living on the plains. So if we talk about the number in male, it is about 5 to 5.5 million. It is about 5 to 5.5 million. So RBCs are found per cubic millimeter of blood, and in females it is about 4 to 4.8 million per cubic millimeter of blood. Okay, as we know that from very previous of our classes, 1 cubic centimeter equals to 1 ml of blood. 1 ml of blood. So you can imagine 1 cubic millimeter equals to will be less than 1 ml. 1 cubic millimeter equals to 0.001 ml of blood. So you can see here, like this much small amount of blood carries this much larger amount of the RBCs in male. Okay, and females also. So less than 1 ml of blood have the 5 to 5 millions of RBCs, and it becomes more greater if the person is living on the high altitudes in comparison to the person living on the plain. Okay, next, about their shape and structure. First of all, shape. They are biconcave in shape. Okay, structurally they do not have the nucleus. And they do also not have the cellular organelles or other cellular organelles. Lack. So what is the reason and how these things gives the advantage to our RBCs, we are going to see. First of all, biconcave. The shape biconcave, something like this, plumpy at the ends and depressed in the center, something like this, biconcave. Okay, this shape, this special shape they get because of the lack of the nucleus. This depression, जो center में इनकी depression है, because of the absence of the nucleus, they get a depression in the center. That's why they get the biconcave shape. What is the advantage of this shape of the RBCs? Let's see. Suppose a same cell in a same cell spherical in shape. Okay, so if you see their surface area to their volume is increases in this shape comparison to the spherical, as we know that majority of the cells are being spherical. Okay, so instead of being spherical, they are being the concave, because being in concave shape, their surface area increases. What is the advantage of? First of all, their surface area. As we know that the transport of the gases takes place with the help of the diffusion. So if the surface area is increasing, the diffusion becomes the more efficient. Okay, sorry. If the surface area increasing, the diffusion going to become more efficient and also more rapid. So first of all, what is the advantage to having a biconcave shape? So diffusion becomes diffusion of gases. Diffusion, as we know that those gases are the oxygen and carbon dioxide. Diffusion of the gases becomes more efficient and rapid because of this shape of RBCs. What is the next advantage of this biconcave shape? Actually, if you see our blood vessels, not every blood vessels have the same diameter. As we know that some are the aorta, some are the vena cava, capillaries are there, and veins, arteries, etc. And capillaries specifically, they have a comparatively very less diameter, even the less than the size of the RBCs, although they are very tiny in shape. So sometimes RBCs themselves feel very difficult, okay, to go through or pass through the blood vessels. That's why this biconcave shape helps them to squeeze through the blood vessels, and also in contracting their shape at a very high extent. So because of this shape, दो quality मिलती है. First of all, the constriction. Not only the constriction, at very high extent. ये very high extent पे they can constrict themselves while they are passing through very narrow or very tiny blood vessels, specifically with the capillaries. Okay, and also they also can squeeze on the above of the other RBCs through the blood vessels. So second, what is the advantage of biconcave shape? They get they can easily squeeze through because of this shape, squeeze through blood vessels easily because of this shape. Okay, so biconcave shape gives them the rapid diffusion and efficient diffusion of the gases, and also helps them in the squeezing through the blood vessels. So ultimately this shape making them more flexible, okay, that's why they are able to squeeze through even the very tiny capillaries. Okay, next, one more thing I would like to add here. Along with this shape, this flexibility is also given by a cytoskeleton protein, spectrin, that helps them squeezing through the blood vessel, spectrin. Next, what is the advantage behind do not having any cell organelles or the nucleus. If you see the diffusion of the gases is actually done by the hemoglobin, a type of protein that gives the color to the blood vessels is done by the hemoglobin. Okay, so if there is no nucleus, if there is no cell organelles, suppose this is a cell and there is nothing inside it, so these hemoglobin going to get more space to fit it. Okay, so if there is nothing inside the cell, ना कोई nucleus है, ना कोई organelle है, so यहाँ पे सिर्फ क्या होंगी, hemoglobins, and they going to be many more in the number. Okay, so what is the advantage of it? What is the work of the RBCs ultimately? To transport the gases, and it is actually done by the hemoglobin, and there is much more hemoglobin inside these RBCs if there is no nucleus and no cell organelles. ठीक है, अगर कुछ भी नहीं है, empty है cell, so there will be the more hemoglobin. So work perspective view से this going to be more efficient or effective. Okay, more efficient or effective. If we talk about the number of the hemoglobin inside a single cell, as you can say, there is nothing inside it, so they are going to be many. Okay, they are about 250 to sometimes 300 also to 60 millions in number. Okay, and if we see them in the gram, okay, about 12 to 16 gram per 100 ml of the blood. Okay, so because of the lack of the nucleus, because of lack of cell organelles, the cells have the more space to pack the hemoglobin. That's why they becomes, by working perspective or point of view, more efficient, and this gives them to carry more and more hemoglobin. And if we see the number, this is much more than we can imagine, about 250 to 260 million and sometimes 3 millions in numbers, and in grams about 12 to 16 gram per ml of the blood. So this much of the hemoglobin can packed in single cell. So you can see how working workingly it becomes how efficient. Okay? So next thing that gives it the advantage to do not have any organelles, as we know that mitochondria, they does the cellular respiration. Okay, so they also in cellular respiration there is a need of the oxygen, and if any cell like our RBCs, they do not have the mitochondria, they do not going to do the cellular respiration, so they are not going to use any of its oxygen molecules that they are going to transport. So itna oxygen molecules they are going to transport, but going to use none of it. Okay, because of lack of the cell organelles, specifically the mitochondria, they are going to use none of it. So they does the anaerobic respiration instead of the aerobic respiration, in which a cell uses the oxygen. Okay, so here they do the anaerobic respiration to save the oxygen again. Next, about the function, I think it's third point. We know that the most important function of the RBCs is the diffusion and transportation of the gases. Okay, we already know this, but now we are going to see how they are able to do this. Okay, so as I have said or mentioned here, that there is a protein hemoglobin found in the RBC that gives the color as well as perform the function of transportation of the gases. Okay, as you have seen already that there is a many more numbers of the hemoglobin found in a single cell. Okay, so look at here about the some points. Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is denoted as the capital H and a small b. It is a protein of 4 amino acid chains. It's a protein of the 4 amino acid chains. Out of which 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains, and each chains, either they are alpha chain or they are the beta chains, they have a heme group. And each heme group going to have a iron. Each heme group going to have a iron, and this iron of the heme group of each chain, either they are alpha or beta, carries the one molecule of the oxygen. So here you can see one molecule of the hemoglobin going to carry 4 molecules of the oxygen. Okay, because hemoglobin is made up of the 4 amino acid chain, 2 alpha and 2 beta, and each chain has a heme group, and each heme group has the iron that carries the one molecule of the oxygen. So there is going to be 4 iron in one hemoglobin. So ultimately one hemoglobin molecule going to carry the 4 molecules of the oxygen. Okay. Some more about these alpha and beta chain. These are about 141 amino acid long, and these are about 146 amino acid long chains. Okay, so in biology, whenever you will see the transportation of the oxygen, you will see the either there is a iron carrying or taking the oxygen, or there is a copper. So this is for the general knowledge. So if there is iron, it is going to transport the oxygen, and in case of our hemoglobin, there is a 4 iron found in each group of these 4 amino acid chain. So one particular hemoglobin molecule going to carry the 4 molecule of the oxygen. So as we have seen here that a single cell has this much, about 250 to 260 millions of the hemoglobin molecules. So here we can guess the amount of a single cell carried of oxygen. It is about 1 to 1.2 billion. 1 to 1.2 billion molecules of the oxygen carried by single cell of the red blood cell. Okay, so sorry. Let's do a quick revision of all 3 things are heading about the RBCs. First of all, their number. They are most abundant cells of our blood, and their number varies in male and females, about 5 to 5.5 million per cubic millimeter of blood in male, and about 4 to 4.8 million per cubic millimeter of blood in females. And the percent is also increases by if the person is living on the high altitude in comparison to the person living on the plains. Next, about their shape and structure. There is some shape and structure peculiarity found in our RBCs. First of all, they are biconcave, lack all the organelles as well as the nucleus. This biconcave shape give them the flexibility to squeeze through the blood vessels that are being of different size, and also give them ability of the fast and rapid diffusion. and lack of the nucleus and organelles give the more space for hemoglobin to fit within our RBCs, so that by function point of view they becomes more efficient. Even a single cell of the RBCs carries 250 to 260 millions of hemoglobin molecules, about 12 to 16 gram for 100 ml of blood. Okay, and functionally their first and important function is for the diffusion and transportation of the gases, that is actually done by the hemoglobin. There is the 4 iron molecules are found in each amino acid chain of the hemoglobin, and there is 4 chains of amino acid, 2 alpha and 2 beta. So one molecule of the hemoglobin carries the 4 molecule of the oxygen. So in one time, okay, about 1 to 1.2 billions of the oxygen molecules has been carried by the 1 RBC or one cell of the red blood cell. Next, in function, I would like to add one more things. We all know about the blood grouping. Okay, there is A, B, ABO and O blood groups. Okay, this is actually defined by the RBCs. There is some type of glycoproteins and glycolipids. Lipids are found on the surface of the RBCs that actually responsible for the particular type of the blood group. Okay, they are in simple language known as the antigen, that we will discuss detailed in our next topic in the same series of the blood grouping. Okay, so up to here we have done with the 3 subtopics. Next is actually the formation of RBCs. Okay.